This is a Rolemaster Classic Actual play set in Terry K Amthor's excellent Shadow World using fantasy grounds. You can find session summaries, items and characters on World Anvil, where our campaign is called The Praise of Old Men. This episode is cross-referenced as Demons of the Burning Night 2 Part 7. Last time, after not disturbing the beings at the gazebo, the party moved south to hop over a wall to the area dubbed the Nobel Quarter. In an almost one-sided fight, the companions quickly dispatched 5 demons resembling children, though children with oversized heads, razor-sharp teeth, venom-tipped claws, and a hunger for humanoid flesh. Continuing southeast, they came upon a large statue of a naked man. We joined them just after Victor, looking for a secret way, snapped off the man's phallus.
As you snap the penis off this Nereti god of fertility...
Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Okay, can you give me... Yes, could have serious consequences. Can you give me a hard... I mean, oh, my God, I didn't think this through at all.
Very hard.
Not extremely
Well,
hard.
Very hard, yeah.
Come off in your hand. Can you give me a hard channeling resistance roll, please?
Oh, God. Okay.
I don't know how I typed this up for World
I was
Anvil.
hoping it would be Constitution.
Oh,
or
my
something.
God.
Is that
Okay.
good or bad?
Please share the roll just before you say anything.
Okay, it was 6 with a minus 10.
That's
Ooh.
awesome.
So that's minus 4. Okay.
Ogden, can you restore souls?
Right. As you snap this off,
Oh, shit.
you get the sense that obviously the spirit, the animus that is in this statue is angry that you have defaced what is the epitome of its manhood and manliness. Right, so you've got a 50% chance, Victor, of being struck with a particularly potent STD, rashes, etc., etc. You've got a 25% chance of instantly changing sex.
Oh,
What's happened? You've got a 25% chance of just being sterile and having your charisma halved as your face breaks out into hives and a rash. So 50, 25, 25.
Never thought I'd be
Give me
cheering an STD.
A D100. So 50% for the STD,
Not often you pray for an STD, I must admit.
Okay.
25% to suddenly become Victorette.
Yeah, let's go for it. Oh,
70.
Victorette!
So you are Victorette.
and that's
You are
not
now
too bad,
a female.
I guess.
Victorina.
Victorina. So you are now a female. So you've basically been cursed so that you can perhaps appreciate the beauty that is a man, the wonder that is a man, and obviously to be able to do that, you can only do that as a woman.
immediately Silk thinks you're 100% hotter.
It's the way
Okay.
Victorette looks back, so double raises her eyebrows and then puts the phallus into her bag.
For
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it.
later.
Cran says, "Oh my God, I've been without a woman for so long. Even Victor looks attractive." Wait a minute. Okay.
Oh my goodness, Victoria, how are you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah, my name is
So,
Victoria now.
what the rest of you see is you can almost feel the air around this shrine change.
Uh-oh.
You see Victor drop to his knees and clutch his head and then kind of fold his arms across his body. And then he turns and looks absolutely ashen and terrified. And you can see his face, or his facial features, almost melt slightly and soften. And then you're looking at a face which is definitely Victor's, but undeniably female.
Like
I
the
mean, your
beard,
appearance
see,
is
gives you
82.
something to hang on to.
Oh.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm
the
pretty
beard
good
is no
looking.
longer there. The beard falls away or just disappears, actually. So you're looking actually at a very attractive female fighter who clearly is Victor, but Victor's twin sister.
I'm good with it.
I presume Ogden wouldn't really know that, so what he would do is prepare to detect evil for a little while, and then sort of get close up to Victor and put his hand on him for a sort of touch range.
I mean, clearly you know that there has been some sort of magical effect that's been triggered. The nature of it, you probably don't know. Whether you, I mean, you might suspect it's a curse or some sort of effect of vandalizing this shrine.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows? Okay, where next, folks?
The ready fertility gods and their members should not be messed.
It's all very well telling everybody now, Silk.
So noted.
Okay.
You could have warned me.
So, Victor, did you find any stairs down? And do we still call you Victor?
Or Vic.
Not sure.
Vicky.
Okay,
Vicky.
so Vicky couldn't find any steps down. Certainly when he pulled and then broke off a piece of the statue, nothing shifted, nothing moved into place. Do you want to search the shrine, or do you want to explore the rest of whatever this compound is?
I don't want to do anything. I don't want to
I
touch
can't wait to
anything.
see the next token that you pick.
Oh yes, we need a new token now, new portrait and everything.
Ogden's gonna go up to Cran and sort of pat him on the back and go, just us two fellas again, mate. And then looks over at Newmore and goes, just us two fellas again, mate.
Poor old Yarn. Okay.
Dear.
Oh, yeah.
Where next? Do you want to go southwards towards where you heard those child demon voices, or do you want to follow the road and see where that leads?
I like the idea of the road. Up to you guys.
Does that look like stairs, or is it just like a bit of an outhouse or something?
That's the ruins of another building.
Check it out, Cran, if you're interested in.
Is it safe to look around the pillar yet?
Yeah.
I'll go and have a look.
Blinds.
Go and have a look at that building there.
Okay. It looks like part of another building, not as elaborate as the other one. But again, Cran, give me an intuition roll. Come on, one of these days you'll make one of these. You must do. Yeah, that's good enough.
Whoa!
That's not bad. Glancing across, there's clearly no kitchen in this part. This looks like some sort of small chamber, 20 foot maybe by 30 feet. There are windows around the walls. Could be a dwelling. It's going to be a small dwelling. Difficult to say what it is, but obviously completely ruined. Given the lack of rubble inside, this was only ever a single-story building.
Yeah, I don't reckon this is any use. Let's head on down. Well, what we could do, guys, is go around the whole edge of the wall, at least to map out what we're dealing with. What do you think?
Yeah, I just
This
want to get to this big
may have
building
been-
if possible. Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to head over this way.
Red light district. next
My
to the
advice is
building
let's keep everyone's hands off genitalia for the full symbol.
Okay.
I thought you called it a lever before.
No more pocket billiards for any of you.
No. Silk, stay away.
Silk is stalking me, Cran. Stop her, stop her. So you make your way round what looks like the back of whatever this building is, Cran. Across to your west, you can see this high white stone wall. You can hear more of these child voices closer to you now, again, muttering something mundane and quite ordinary over and over and over again. Can you give me a perception roll as you just advance?
Yeah, I was about to say, can I check out where they are?
Okay, you can see a group of 4 of them huddled round what looks to be a small fountain. There is still a trickle of water in the fountain, and it's kind of splashing water. As you look more closely, Cran, you can see that they've got some sort of small rodent, like a slightly large squirrel. And 2 of them are pulling on the squirrel. The squirrel is motionless. It's clearly dead. And it looks as if they're almost trying to pull the squirrel apart.
Typical
the other
fucking kids.
the other 3 children that are gathered around are hopping from foot to foot obviously waiting with some sort of excitement as to what's going to happen with this squirrel that they've caught. The 4 of these children are oblivious to your presence, and they keep muttering these peculiar phrases over and over again. Do you want to disturb them and approach them, or do you just want to leave them be and retreat?
Right, whatever fucking happens this time, I'm going to hit them first. Cran's going to say, keep up, boys, and then charge in from there.
Okay.
With his sword over his shoulder to attack the
All
first
right.
one he can see.
Okay.
Bloody hell.
There you go, Agnin. It wasn't me this time.
There's no way I'm going to be not attacking last in the round this time. Nearly killed me.
Okay. Get rid of
Cran's
that.
feeling all confident when he's attacking. I shouldn't be saying small children with a mouth.
That's right. Here we go again. I swear, in my background, it says I love kids.
Yeah. You can just hear it. Bah, you hit like a little girl. Oh, you are a little girl.
Yeah.
Let me just reset the initiative round one. Let's have initiative rolls, please.
Oh, come on. I was charging in. That's what triggered it.
No, I love it when that happens. That's perfect, Jim. Thank you.
You'll have initiative, Cran. I'm going to let you have first swing no matter where you come in initiative because you are charging in.
Oh, it would be so funny if he gets there, gets around.
I'm charging in to become surrounded. Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, because Cran has initiated this combat by charging in, I'm going to skip all the way to Cran, and then we'll go through the initiative order, if that makes sense. Cran, goodness me, for the fact you've charged in, there you go. Right.
I think I've ballsed everyone up there slightly.
So, Cran, off you go. You can scream in and attack whichever ones you want.
All right, I'm going in hard with.
Disgusting.
Stop it! It's not a. Sorry, I can't even say that word. So, all right, the modest assault on the small child.
There it is. Sorry, I didn't pick that one up. Okay, so that is that modest assault on number 3 crunches into the poor unfortunate child demon, if there is such a thing, not flat to the floor. Can you give me an E/critical, please? Oh, sorry, no, it's your demon sword, isn't it? So that's
it's a 68.
open-ended. Okay, well, that's going to be enough to smash it to the ground. It's not going to move again. Okay, so that marks the end of, which one was that? Number 3. So you leap in, Cran, and smash number 3 senseless to the ground, at which point the squirrel is sort of dropped into the water and the creatures turn to look at you in horror. I'm going to go through these.
Can I back off, like after striking it, just back off to a kind of defensible position at the corner?
Yeah, I think so. Yes, and you can set your defense
just kind
as
of.
well.
Okay, I will set some defense there, and that's my end of my round.
Okay, Silk, it's your turn.
Okay, so Silk kind of wanders by Vicky and is like, "Hey, what are you going to do with that later?" That's her.
That's it. So you just take the opportunity to taunt Victor. Okay.
Yeah.
So then creature number 1 will mutter and just walk towards you, Cran, muttering over and over again, "I'm slightly thirsty. I'm slightly thirsty. I'm slightly thirsty." Number 2, on the other hand, trots over there and says, "I'm bored. Can I come in? I'm bored. Can I come in?" But actually moves away. However, coming out of the murk, you can see perhaps the creature that he was waiting to come in. There's also one there.
It's more than a fort, boys. Sorry, there's more than a fort, girls. And I'm good.
Yeah.
You can hear Nobel go, "Hey!"
Number 4 just reaches in
Again.
and picks up the squirrel and eats it.
Winner.
Chicken dinner.
There you go. Numal. I think we'll come and sort of stand over here and ready for an attack. Ugnan.
Yeah, he'll do the same. He'll stand beside Cran, trying to form some kind of line, have his hand axe and shield ready.
So there's a wall. Let me just adjust that. So you've got what looks like well, it's not high, but it's sort of 5 foot, which would make things awkward to clamber over.
Well, in that case, I'll use
That's what I'm hoping.
I'll do that.
Okay,
Wow.
So Cran, you've had your turn this round. Victoria, it's your turn.
Okay, gonna say to Silk. Fuck.
Victoria's just lost for words. I
Do you
know
want a new
first days
voice
are always
when you're role-playing?
embarrassing. What do you say to that one special person? My mate
Does your-
fancies you. I know we've been there.
Does your voice change?
No,
She's still got an Asm's apple.
and Reddy's remorse.
Okay, right. Cherry, I think, will come around here to take up a flank position and ready a bow. Okay, let's go for initiative rolls, and we'll be all nice and regular. Well,
It's like Bran.
yes, nice and regular with a sex-changing warrior.
Do you know how disappointing it is to be 30 off the pace on initiative? That's embarrassing.
I rolled maximum. So I'm still after them.
Yeah.
Okay, Silk, it's your turn.
Okay.
From what the others have said, there are a lot of these things, and although they're not powerful, if swarm all over somebody and get any of these bites through, could be quite nasty.
Keep
that's
your
it.
back
And
to the
she
wall,
wasn't even-
guys. Keep your back to the wall. Let's get into a defensible position. Don't get in the open.
Yeah, she wasn't even paying attention. She was just basically wandering by Vicky again, just to keep up the chatter, and then realizes that there's these little things. So she'll move next to Cherry and get in a defensive position. Full parry done.
Okay, so number 6 will skitter through, go invisible. Number 7 will come charging across the ground. Number 1 will move forward and attack you, Cran.
Yes, I defended against the right one. That never happens.
That's true. That's very true.
That misses, so it pings off your armor. Obviously, these creatures are going to struggle to get past your stout protection. Number 5.
Stop talking about Agnes like that.
I thought you'd say. Yes. Number 5 will attack Numal, Claw. Oof. And that is enough to get past Numal's defense, 12 points.
Damn.
But also a CE slash. The creature viciously claws Numal across the chest. And as Numal tries to flinch away, the creature catches Numal across the jaw and chin and throat, unfortunately, dropping Numal to the ground as there's a great sort of flush of crimson from a red throat wound.
Wow.
Numal
Fuck.
drops to the ground, clutching his neck.
Shit.
It's bleeding, not enough to kill him, but he's bleeding heavily. What's more worrying, of course, is that Numal has clearly been struck with the venom, and you can see his eyes suddenly go wide and he struggles to gasp for breath.
Wow.
A region obviously of his throat, neck and mouth is beginning to obviously suffer from some sort of paralysis,
Oh, God.
which might affect his breathing. Number 8 comes across straight at Victoria, but has to go round that one. Number 2 is going to come across and just basically try and chew on Numal's face. So I'm going to give him a bonus for that because Numal is beginning to suffer from paralysis and more importantly is down and stunned.
Numal takes the most damage of anybody, I think.
Yeah, I'm not sure what he was doing there. Come on, Numal, get back in the ranks.
Okay, so that's 19 points.
Ouch.
And first of all, an E puncture. Okay, so that's another 10 hits. And Numal is now stunned and unable to parry and is helpless.
Get your teeth out of his gills.
Okay, the venom is
Virgil.
there as well. All right, Numal's in a bad way and is, if this creature carries on feeding on him, Numal is going to die pretty quickly.
Wow.
Number 4 comes around here and is also drawn towards Numal, but won't get there in time. Ugnan.
This is what happened, lads, if you run in without any thought about tactics. He's going to die. I can't get to him. Look, I'll get savaged by them as he tries to hit number 1 with the hand axe.
Ooh, that's not bad. Just misses. Just. Very close, though. Numal is down. Cran, it's your turn.
Victoria, get your fucking ass over here and take out the one attacking Ugnan. I'm going to charge like Marshawn Lynch for the Seahawks straight into number 4, and I'm attempting, as they're only children's size, and I weigh 260 pounds or something, just to push everything back that way with my
Okay.
arms spread out. Rugby / American football
Yeah,
nose
so
tackle.
there's no weapon attack, so you're going to have to drop your sword because you've got your sword out.
Well, if Numa's on the ground, I'm going to use that as a bit of I'm not attacking with it, but like a rounding up device, so I can kind of run in with it in
Okay.
one hand out to one side to try
All
and
right.
get
So
as
what
many
you're
as
trying
possible.
to do is just to kind of shovel them away with your sheer weight as you hurl yourself at them.
Yeah,
So
I'm trying to push them all kind of that way.
Okay, give me so this is kind of a moving maneuver roll. So give me an extremely hard moving maneuver roll. You've got to run across the ground, go through vegetation, switch your two-handed sword to a good two-handed grip, and hurl yourself at these creatures.
Okay, yeah, so I just holding it in the right hand, Numal being on the ground. I'm trying to kind of sweep them away from him and crush it. Well, knock the other ones down like a tackle.
Okay, then in that case,
okay.
give me a very hard rather than extremely hard, because you're not trying to grip the sword in two hands, handle and part of the blade.
I'm still not sure I've got that moving maneuver correctly done.
Andy!
Holy crap!
There you go.
Wow.
100.
Well,
with
I'm
a
pleased I
40.
rerolled that.
Okay, so you're able to shovel the creatures away like that, Bran.
Okay.
You barge them out of
Fantastic.
the way, I think, with that roll. Right, Victoria.
Agnan, it's all yours!
Yeah, I'm going to move in to help Agnan.
Okay.
Let's see. Number 1.
Okay. Oh, blimey. So number 1. So that's 30 points of damage. So that's an E/critical, please. And then we'll roll the A heat. I won't need to.
God, 95.
There you go. Severed.
Oh, sweet.
So let me get rid of number 1. So you move across and take out number 1.
Still got it.
That's right. You notice
I
you
am
have to
woman, hear
maneuver
me
around.
roar. Slash
Yeah.
tactics 2.
I am no man.
Yeah, I am no man.
Okay, so Cherry will use her short bow on number 8. No, that flies wide. Okay, initiative rolls, please, everybody. Right, so that's going to be number 7 first.
So are we all kind of sprawled on the ground at the moment? How did that end
No,
up?
because you kind of swung your sword and used your brute strength just to push them out of the way. So I think I'm going to apply a -5 penalty to the demons to attack, just because they've stunned and pushed out of the way without actually suffering from a stun. Your sort of attack, well, was just not what they expected, for want of a better phrase. So one of the creatures will try and claw at you, Cran. Remember, your stout armor has been basically fantastic so far. And unfortunately, claw manages to sneak through your guard. You take 6 points of damage and an A critical. The A critical actually takes you across the eyes. Sudden well-placed blow. Foe is stunned for 2 rounds, and you take 6 hit points of damage. And I need you to make a Constitution resistance roll, please, Cran.
So that's just a Constitution check, yeah? There's no modifiers to it.
Poison, sorry. No, it's a poison roll,
Poison
isn't it?
check,
I'm
okay.
sorry. Poison check. Oh, yeah, no problem. So your eyes, I mean, you can't help but feel that one of your eyelids is just not functioning, which is going to cause problems unless you can wash this venom out, i.e. you're not blinking, so your eyes will dry and get infected. But other than that, you've been quite lucky.
You fuckers!
Silk, it's your turn.
Okay. Silk is going to somehow be drawn to the right instead of left. And she runs up and Superman punches number 8. Gets to here.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, that 90 was just trickling.
That's a miss.
Okay, that's
a miss. Then. Number 5 will continue to feast on Numal, I'm afraid.
Fuck.
And that's another 10 points of damage on Numal.
Oh.
And Numal is unconscious and basically being eaten. The creature's just hunkered down, is beginning to chew on his arm.
Wow.
Number 4 is attacking you, Cran.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. I'm being attacked.
That plinks, helpless as you are, it's unable to get past your armor. Okay, number 8 is going to attack you, Silk.
Mm-hmm. Vicious sneer on her face.
That vicious sneer turns to a yelp of pain
Ah!
as the creature manages to catch you with fire for 5 points of damage. It also does a critical.
Mm.
I love the zero. So if I rolled a 1, it would be a dubious strike.
Right.
This is not. This is a cruel blow for
Ooh.
2 hit points. But you're going to have to make a poison resistance roll, please, Silk.
Okay, poison.
Oh, no problem at all.
She starts sucking on the fingers.
Okay, yes. Number 2 will come round and probably attack you, Cran, I think. And that's going to be a miss. Numal is helpless. Ugnan.
Ugnan's going to take 10 feet of movement first. Now, I think Bosco's armour it drains at 10 feet radius, is it?
That's right.
So that's where as far as he'll go. And then pull out his shield, point it towards Numal, clench his fist, and pull it back to his chest to try and pull Numal with that
That's
thing
yes, that's
just behind
very
him.
clever. Yep.
Nice.
Off you go. So do you want to give me a... Yeah.
No. Oh. I saw this 00. I thought, oh no, please.
There you go.
One time work.
I'll pop him there. That's all he can do.
Very nice use of that shield. That I never thought the shield would be used like that. It's very useful.
That's really cool. Yeah.
Like
Good
Medivac.
job. Yeah.
Cran, you are stunned.
Stunned.
I'm afraid. So you can have sort of 50% of your movement if you wish.
Silk, what the fuck are you doing there? Get back. Try and get your backs against the wall. Protect Ugnan and Numal. And I'll move back there. Try and tell Silk to try and get between us and protect Ugnan from the one on the east.
Okay. Victoria.
That's it.
Yeah.
Victoria's going to take a step forward and
Oh,
attack.
sorry.
number 8.
I forgot to say, Stuart, I still can parry up to half, can't I? Against one
yes,
creature.
yes, you can. Yep.
All right, I'll do that against 7 hit me last time against him.
So you step in with Remorse, Victor, and Hammerer another one for 30 points of damage. And you roll an E/. So can you give me your E/, please? Okay. And again, that takes its leg off and drops the creature to the ground. It stops moving after writhing around and rolling a little bit. You're chewing through these things like as if you're scything down wheat. Cherry is stepping back slightly to reload. Initiative rolls, please, everybody.
Impressive 18 there. Did you see that?
Silk, your turn.
So Silk kind of snaps out of it, hearing Cran, and turns around and immediately rushes number 6.
So you watch as Silk again charges in with her sandaled feet flashing at the creature. Which one are you attacking? Okay.
Back here, getting
Right.
over.
Can I have all of you make reasoning rolls apart from Silk? Ugnan. Silk is one of the more powerful magicians and spellcasters you've come across. She's particularly gifted at manipulating electricity and plasma and that sort of things. You've seen her repeatedly fry and electrocute all manner of creatures. Something has clearly happened because now she's just not using her magic at all.
Yeah, I noticed that. She's scared about Tarek Nev. Is it really her? Has she been taken over by a demon?
Kill her!
Silk's gone rogue!
Here we
Silk,
go.
off you go.
Straight attack. Oh, nice.
my God.
yeah.
190.
Who's taken Silk and replaced it with someone capable in combat?
I'm Sharna as I rip off my mask. Rank 1,
That's right.
15 hits.
Okay, so that's number 6. You do 15 points of damage. More importantly, you get to get a B critical strike roll,
Ooh.
please.
Here comes the bee. Big. Oh, these freaking tiny crits.
12.
Oh, you said crits. Sorry.
Soft
Yes,
blow.
that's
Yeah, you have.
I am the crit master.
So 4 hit points. I mean, you're going to get that critical. You're going to get that initiative anyway on number 4, but you do an extra 4 points of damage on number 6. There we go. So that's 19. All right, number 4. We'll go for you, Victor. Sorry, Victoria.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's a film, Victor Victoria.
Yeah.
And that's a miss. Yes, it is. That's a miss. Then we've got number 7, who comes at you, Cran.
That should be at minus 60. If it doesn't appear to be, let me know.
No, it isn't, but that's going to be a miss with minus 60. Number 2 will pick himself off the floor and come at you as well, Cran, I'm afraid.
That's not at minus 60.
That's a miss. And number 6 is... I don't think number 6 was stunned, so he's going to attack you back, I'm afraid. Silk.
No problem.
Okay, so that's a claw on you, Silk. And that's a miss. Then we've got number 5, who's going to go at Cherry. And that's going to be 6 points of damage on Cherry, unfortunately. So that means also a critical. That catches her across the leg. And she yelps in pain and drops her bow and then falls over as her leg stiffens and becomes almost paralyzed.
Fuck.
She's obviously reacted quite badly to this venom, almost like an allergic reaction. Numal is still down. Ugnan, your turn.
Okay, I think first thing is to cast Poison Purification on Numal to get that out of her system. His system, sorry.
Mhm.
Freudian.
And then that's probably has about 25% left, so it's just to grab a Vinnic and get it ready for next round.
Okay. Cran, your turn.
I'm still stunned, so I will just defend against 7 again, and that's everything I can do. That should
Okay.
disappear this round. All right.
Cherry is down and kind of crawls into the bushes, dragging a useless leg behind her. Victoria.
Yeah, Victoria will attack number 4. Can someone else do something?
They don't need to. Oh my God, 21 ES. So
Oh,
5.
But then it's my
3 hit points of damage. So this is about the first one you've hit that is still standing. Oh, but you still get your what is it? Is it the heat one?
heat, yeah.
Okay, so give me an A heat critical. So a normal dice roll, please, for the A heat.
Oh my God.
So 10, that's another hit point. And then you get your second attack.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh my. Yeah.
Okay, and that's 30 ES, which decapitates the creature.
190 again.
jeez.
Okay, so number 4, down he goes.
Nice.
Okay, initiative, please, everybody.
It's a hearty 15 this time. I think the lowest I can get is 7, so I'm getting close.
So number 5 is going after Cherry to snack on her. And that's another 11 points of damage on Cherry. And another B slash to 73. Basically, the creature fastens onto her leg and just falls on top of her and begins to chew on her calf. Cherry shrieks with shock, but she clearly doesn't feel the creature biting into her leg. You can see a great lump of flesh has just been bitten out as if a slice of cake has been removed.
Spit it out.
Silk, it is your turn.
Okay. It missed me last turn, so I am going to continue this all-out attack.
Okay.
28, just spitting at it, raking my nails into it, just cursing.
And that's enough to strike the creature for 3 points of damage, but not enough to really land anything.
Yeah.
But it's certainly been hit.
No
Number
bonuses.
6 will strike back at you.
Yeah.
And that's a miss.
Oh.
Number 7 is going to strike at you, Cran, and that's a miss. And then number 2 strikes at you as well, Cran. That is 1 point of damage, but that's it. Doesn't manage to do anything more to you, Cran, so you don't need to make any sort of resistance roll or anything. Numal is still down. Ugnan.
What wound was it Numal had? Was the bleed? Was it the throat?
Yes, so Numal is basically bleeding from the throat wound at 3 hits
Oh,
round.
no.
Oh, by the way, Sherry's in reach of me.
Yeah, she
All right,
crawled
so
in
that
there.
is now 5 points per round, and Cherry gets some hit points back.
Oh dear.
The good
Jerry,
news
get
is-
out of the way!
Yeah.
Yeah,
The good
I'm not so
news
sure
is-
Cherry would have done that, but we'll too bad. Ugnan's going to move 5 feet away, well, just slightly to the side to keep out of Cherry's reach, and has the Vinnic ready
Yeah,
already.
you can step. I mean, you can step to there and take that bleed if you want.
Yeah, well, he's going to take the whole thing off Numal, and then as soon
Oh,
as he gets
wow.
it, the last. So we'll just make sure don't fumble first, actually.
No.
Oh,
Okay, and then so as the throat opens up, and he'll take the Vinnic and take a slosh of that.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll put you on 5 stuns, and what was it? 3 can't parries, and you're bleeding at 5, Ugnan, and then you
that's-
take that herb.
And that's 5 rounds of stun relief.
Okay, and that's also that basically takes off the can't parry as well, which are a product of that. So all you're suffering from at the moment is the bleed at 5 a round.
Wow.
Okay,
So
and
that's-
you take the 64 points of damage, I think it was. There you go.
Yep, and then I'll say, Newell, look to Cherry.
Okay, Cherry continues to bleed. Cran, it's your turn.
Okay, this is going to possibly all go horribly to cock. So I'm going to swing at 7 with Shield Breaker.
Okay,
That'll help.
okay, so that's 48 points of damage at number 7.
Yeah.
So number 7 disappears. He evaporates.
Okay, and then I'm going to shout out, Victoria, take this fucker here! And then leap that way and just try and jump on. I'm assuming it's like on all fours, feasting on Cherry on the ground.
Okay, yep. So you can give me. I want, because your 2-handed sword is out.
I can drop that or shove it into the ground or something.
I would drop it on the ground and just make a hard moving maneuver roll. And if you get this wrong, you just don't make the move. But if you were clutching the sword, I'd ask you to make a fumble roll with the sword.
Okay, so I'm basically what I'm trying to do is like grab this thing under the armpits and
just
leap
get it
off.
out of the way. Yep.
Yeah, rip it back off. Okay.
You're playing like a rugby player. I approve of this.
It's a ruck. Unfortunately, my moving maneuver is awful.
9. So you get to there and place the sword rather than drop the sword, and that's the end of your turn, I think.
Okay.
Victoria.
Victoria's gonna do what Cran asked and take on number 2, Blade.
Wow. So again, that's another 30 points. And an E/, and the 72 is taking off a leg. So number 2 is dead.
Yay!
So the creatures that you're fighting are not difficult to drop. Unfortunately, there are a lot of them, and this venom is really nasty. Once you close with them, though, then they're not too difficult. Okay, initiative rolls, please. And Silk, who's having fun.
Yeah, not quite, but yeah, okay. Straight on attacks. Here we go.
That's 1 point of damage.
Oh,
So you are softening the creature up, shall we say? Jab, 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 jab.
Marshal Varuz.
That's right, exactly. Yes, I thought you'd get the reference. Number 6, now that's the creature that you're facing.
Yeah.
That was a nasty. Oh dear, I'm sorry, Silk.
that's okay. That's what it's about.
That's 16
Random roll.
points, Silk, and a D puncture. Oh, you've got a lot of hit points as well. No
Your
problems.
chest deflating silk.
Yeah. Pop.
Actually, somehow the creature is sidetracked. It takes you across the thigh.
Oh,
So that's a thigh wound. You're taking 3 hits per round. Can you give me a resistance roll, please? Poison, toxin, venom.
yes, sir.
Resistance roll over 50 and you're fine. Oh dear. Okay, your leg is obviously beginning to stiffen. I'm going to give you a -25 penalty.
Okay.
Number 5 is still going to try and hit Cherry, and that's a nasty one as well. Cherry's hit for another 17 points, and another D puncture as the creature just. Oh, that's rubbish. So 8 points. Sorry, and 8 is just 4 more points of damage. But the penalty that she's suffering from now is quite significant. Numal will attack with his blade on number 5, and that's 20 points and a D/critical, but it's a demon blade. Down it goes. So Numal comes to her rescue.
That one counts as yours, and we all know the real power.
Ugnan.
He's wrapping bandages around his throat to try to first aid himself, and I imagine at 5 per round that isn't a 1-round action, so we'll just keep doing that until it stops.
Okay. Do you want to give me a first aid roll?
Silk looks back. Ugnan, now's no time for that kind of malarkey.
Okay, that's fine. So actually, that
Take-
first aid, we'll take that now.
Take the grapefruit out of your mouth, Ogden.
Cran, your turn.
Safe word.
Safe word.
Omaha. Okay.
Pineapple.
He moves about 20,
Cran, yeah.
20 feet up.
I'll give
And
you a
he's-
flank on that as well.
Don't fumble it.
Yeah, that would be helpful. That's not a fumble.
So that's just a mere 46 points of damage, which is enough to finish the creature off. But you might as well roll your E. Sorry, it's not an E/, it's a holy blade.
It's a weak one. I was going
that's
easy.
weak. So the last of these child demon creatures is dropped to the ground and lies motionless.
Cran looks a bit sheepish and says, sorry, ladies and gents. I shouldn't have really charged into them, should I? Fuck! What's that coming out your neck, Ogden? And they run over here.
Okay. So mercifully, as you dispatch the last of whatever these horrible creatures was or is, nothing else comes from the ruins of the buildings, perhaps another temple or shrine just to your south. Numal is fine. The rest of you don't seem to bear much in a case of sort of ill effects. The only person who's injured is Cherry, who's quite seriously injured.
Silk is bleeding, so I'm gonna first aid her.
Okay. Give me a first aid roll, please, Victoria.
Cran, as Victoria starts fiddling around with Silk's thigh, Cran is going to look studiously at the wall over the other side.
Okay.
Silk lets it happen.
So Silk, you stop bleeding.
Oh, nice job.
So you're not taking that 3 hits per round. However, the wound and the venom is still there. So you're still at -25. Your leg is very stiff, very unresponsive, and just doesn't moving properly. And of course, you can't feel anything from your right hip downwards. Cherry, on the other hand, is in obviously a bad way.
Yeah, so she's not bleeding though, at least. So first things first is poison. So I'll do the two poison spells for Cherry and Silk. Okay.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. So
And then the transferal
Silk,
spell.
I'll remove that penalty.
Oh, wow. Thank you.
And then transferal spell for all of Cherry's concussion and the slashed foe. Calf.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, that's fine.
Puts me on 113.
You've got the -2 penalties, which is -50.
I'll try and get rid of the calf wound now, so you don't have to transfer it.
Okay.
Yep. So I don't know what that is. I'll just look it up. But...
So I'll just delete that. Okay.
And then I'm gonna have to go to sleep for a little bit and cast a level 4 regeneration, which take 113 rounds.
Okay.
You won't have to carry me. We'll do this.
We may have had to bury you after you did that just now.
Yeah.
I'm feeling tired. I'm just going to lie down. Right. So Ugnan is obviously looking the worse for wear, having healed, a large range of moderate injuries. None of them serious, but cumulatively they were quite nasty. So you're clearly going to need to rest and allow Ugnan to heal. Do you want to retreat back to the shrine, to the gardener's cottages, or do you want to risk resting here?
Somewhere under cover, at least. Or
How long did you say it's 113 round?
113 rounds.
That's not that bad.
How about that one there? It's
10
near the
seconds
wall.
around.
Yep, and I'll use the level
Yeah.
8 spell for the muscle repair, so it's instantaneous rather than taking 1 to 10 hours.
Okay, up here in this building.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Cran will guard that entrance.
Victoria will take the other one.
Sorry.
No, it's gonna take a while to get used to that.
Of course,
So
I
relaxes.
play these games on Friday nights to get away from my fiancée, who's also called Victoria, so cheers for that, Vic.
Oh, you're in so much trouble. I'm sure she heard that.
I better get out.
Yeah.
Like she'd listen to this.
Okay.
You'll find out in about
always
10
hear.
minutes.
Okay, so you retreat back to the top, carrying Ugnan with you. Take up a defensive position until you feel that Ugnan is going to be safe enough to move again. Okay.
And that's where that session finished. But we're not going to stop there at 45 minutes in. So here is part of the next session. Also, interestingly, partway through this session, Fantasy Grounds bugged out and you could suddenly see the GM rolls. So what was rolled, critical-wise, would have to stay. So there's a death on the critical rolls. There'd be no shielding by the GM. It'd stand, and there could be some deaths.
It's going to take time for Ugnan to regenerate.
I've done the
3 or
maths.
4 hours.
I've done the
Go
maths.
on, then.
If it's 10 seconds around, that means it is 33 recurring minutes.
Is that all? Just 33 minutes?
I thought that was wrong as well, but I did
No?
200 times 10 divided by 60.
In that case, after about an hour, Ugnan is conscious but still weary. You can see that the spells that he's been able to cast have left him tired, but presumably with a nod, Ugnan, are you happy for them to proceed?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, recovered, unscathed, well, rather uninjured now. There is a very, very large temple complex across to your southeast. That building that you can see dimly looming up out of the murk is probably a very high vaulted ceiling, maybe about 40 or 50 feet high. It is probably one of the biggest buildings on the island, and from what you can remember from the flyover, it was intact. Whether this is another palace or, as you're beginning to suspect, some sort of major temple, well, that you're going to have to investigate further.
Mhm.
Do you want to make your way round this complex, whatever it is, or do you want to head straight towards the main temple?
Main temple for Ugnan's vote, so straight to it for Ugnan.
Okay.
Straight to
Yeah,
it.
But he will try and
normal.
fall in beside Silk at some point and try and just broach the subject. So, what's wrong with the sorcery, lass?
I don't know. I've suffered some kind of mental block. I don't have access to the reserves I used to for conjuring. That and these things just, I don't know. I can't control myself.
Have you tried to pearl at all?
I have to admit I've tried it in the past, but I just, that's so finite. I don't want to use them up and then not have anything for whoever is running this show here, Vrama or whoever.
Well, affairs of the mind, it's a bit beyond me, so I can't really help you there. That's probably comes from
No
the
problem. Yeah.
usual
just
elven mental meditation techniques or whatever.
Yeah.
I think if you sit
There
cross...
used to be talk of a sanity healing lore, but I wasn't good at
You heard of a strange spell lore on page 48, but that's
That's right.
lost
Rolemaster Companion
entirely.
2.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
right. That now seems to be lost to us over the years.
That's right.
I once knew a bald-headed lad who used to sit cross-legged with his thumb and his forefinger together going, that might help, I don't know.
I'll have to try that.
She says, feeling at her hair, going, "Really? Shaving this off? I don't think
Yeah.
this is going to work."
Occidental monk.
So you reach and rejoin the main road, or a main road, cobblestones, that obviously makes its way through these grounds. You can see in part the cobblestones are quite worn and vegetation is creeping through. Part way along, there's a low stone wall. Can you all give me perception rolls, please, as you approach this low stone wall, which is sort of forming an L shape in front of you. Pausing briefly just to look ahead and catch your bearings, you can see where the temple is. Nothing seems to be moving around that stone wall. You can see the vague outlines of the rest of the stone wall just to the west of that L shape and to the south of the L shape. But it looks as if this part of, or this section of building has been flattened and hammered into pieces and rubble, leaving just that small L shape. Whatever hammered the wall down, though, was obviously fairly significant, maybe a piece of siege machinery or something of that ilk. Nothing seems to be moving, however, and so you move past, heading towards that huge stone building. As you get closer, the vegetation gets a little bit thicker. You eventually can see that the road turns across to the right-hand side and leads to what were once a magnificent set of double doors. Iron, perhaps, certainly some form of metal. They're still closed, but you can see they've been heavily scorched and damaged as if something tried to breach them. The doors are slightly ajar, so with maybe reasonable strength or rope or something, you could probably pull these mighty doors open. Certainly, though, this whole temple complex, and I'll just arrow those doors for you, this whole temple complex or palace has been subject to machinery and spells of a very powerful nature. But it seems to have stood a terrific battering, the sort of forces that have actually leveled much of the rest of the city. As you peer anxiously around in the gloom, nothing seems to be moving, though you can see a whole host and heap of bones in front of the double doors.
Oh.
Oh dear.
Is that the only entrance we can see through the
Yes,
double
remember
doors?
your
There's no
vision
other-
is really limited because of this murk and this blackness which kind of hovers around you. If I just give you a slightly so where you are, you can probably see sort of like that. You know, you're limited to about 60 feet or so in any direction. So as you approach, you can see these bones that lie, human bones perhaps, certainly humanoid bones, that lie in heaps around the door. You can also see a number of scattered shields, some great hammers, spears, two-handed swords, broadswords. All of these look to have been used. They are now, in some cases, overgrown. Vines have grown over them. So they've lain here for a long time. But the skeletons that lie around here are fleshless.
Fucking, where do those skeletons come from, body-wise?
Yeah, so from this distance, can we notice any wing shapes, or are they definitely, when you say humanoid, actually human?
They look to be human. And they carry a number of them carry great sort of hammers. Some of you might recognize them as being mattocks, so mining implements, digging implements, but fearsome weapons in their own right.
In the palace, Vramavera's palace, there was an army up there.
Yep.
Are any of the weapons similar to those?
No.
Okay.
No.
Can we tell by looking at the weapons, if they rusted or they're still pretty...
Give me a perception roll, Numal. So you focus on the weapons, and partly maybe to see if any of these weapons could be of any use, maybe to see if you can ascertain something about the strange nature of these weapons. These weapons have been affected by the passage of time, as have these bodies. The weapons might be serviceable, but to bring them back to their original quality, serviceability, so to speak, you'd have to take something abrasive to them, at the very least a whetstone, get them oiled, and so on. But the key thing for you, Numal, is that these weapons and these bodies have been affected by time.
So it's to Cran and probably Victoria, and says to both of them, do you recognize the weapons and the style of, if there's any armor there? I don't. I'm not familiar with it, but does that look from any particular nation that you're familiar with?
Okay, so I mean, Victoria is a fairly experienced fighter, mercenary, I suppose. Victoria, give me a memory roll, please.
Okay.
Impossible. Victoria can tell you that it's impossible to tell the race of these people. They were just bones. The weapons and the sort of collection and the bits of armor, these were probably fairly cheap and easy to come by cell swords. Anybody can pick up, a sword and swing it, but to swing it well takes a little bit of training. After all, you could take your eye out with it. On the other hand, hammers and mattocks, well, any sort of self-respecting engineer, miner, digger, ditch digger, and so on could probably wield one of those quite dangerously, and they don't take much training. So the bodies that you see here probably belong to what are probably some low-skilled, low-ranked cannon fodder. And it looks like, says Victoria, they died trying to break their way into this palace, temple, or whatever it is.
Maybe after the fact, like not during the switch over to this timeless, but after the fact.
Yeah, could be.
Unless something inside there is manipulating it. But yeah, Cherry, do you want to check for trap?
She can do.
Did you say the bones look blasted?
Yes.
Okay, can we see any incantations around... Well, sorry, while Cherry's doing that, is there any incantations round the door, like symbols, runes?
Okay, can you give me a hard perception roll? You're some way off from the door, so you're kind of peering through the gloom.
Oh.
Okay. No, there are no runes around the door. Looking at the way the bodies have fallen, it looks like some sort of fireball or plasma bolt. Oh, sorry, plasma ball. Of course, not that you know what plasma is.
Rolemaster Companion 3, yes.
How do you know that?
But you know that
Plasma.
can't be used because it's not coded for in the rule set.
That's it.
Damn it. So obviously some sort of fireball or something, some source of intense high energy was released at these poor unfortunate soldiers or these, I don't know, mercenaries, bandits, whoever they were, and basically incinerated and burnt away the bones. And in fact, as you look very, very closely, you can see these odd black lumps. Some of these black lumps and black sharp objects, almost like obsidian, are poking out of the eye sockets, out of the mouth sockets, and lie scattered about amongst the bones.
Wow.
Sherry goes a little bit closer, and she can't find any traps. Ugnan, can you give me a... If you want to know what the black obsidian is, you're going to have to make a hard obscure lore roll or some sort of hard healing roll.
Okay, I've got stone lore.
Yes, stone lore would do. Stone lore would be nice. Hard stone lore roll.
Yeah, it's not very good, but I'll do it. And then just in case, I'll give you a very hard obscure.
Yep. Ooh, well, the very hard obscure worked. So from the stone lore roll, you know that this black obsidian, what's odd about it is there are small amounts of it, and it's only inside the skeletons. It's inside the chest cavities, and you can see sharp pointed bits kind of protruding out of the mouth, out of the eye sockets, and so on. You know that intense heat can do very, very damaging things to flesh. Sudden intense heat can sear and vitrify flesh. So the fireball that erupted and burnt these things and killed them not only incinerated and almost instantly evaporated and burnt off their outer flesh, Some of their inner organs that were protected by bones, rib cages, and the skull were vitrified and turned into a sort of an obsidian glass-like material. What you can see poking out of the eye sockets are the remains of their brains. What you can see in their rib cage are probably some of the larger organs, fragments of heart and liver, and so on.
Wow.
All of that means that the heat that was detonated was of an intense nature that you've not experienced before, fortunately. And at which point Cherry thinks, oh, right, and backs off a little bit.
And it's only on these remains, and the remains are only around the door.
Yes, there is nothing. The heat did not touch the vegetation. The heat has not touched the cobblestone floors. And the doors, though they look as if they've been damaged, clearly haven't been hit in the same way.
Numelos, Sherry, do you think it was just one fireball, or does it look like this has happened on multiple occasions? And perhaps, if the latter, can we discern from where the burnt bodies are, where the source of the fireball was from, where it came out of the building, or whether it came, maybe someone was standing there casting them?
It looks like it came from inside the building and went outwards. The skeletons have fallen outwards in a heap, sort of arms pointing towards the north and the northwest, as if they were knocked off their feet and hurled away from the door. Probably one blast.
In terms of frequency, one blast, right?
One blast, you think.
So I wonder if we trigger it in some way, the blast occurs, and trigger it again and see how quickly it can reload, maybe creep inside the temple in the interval. Question is, how do we trigger it?
I mean,
any volunteers?
I might be able to do that. I have the Shield of Faith. It absorbs fire-based attack.
Not bad. It's fire-based.
Okay. Silk, intrigued by the nature of this door, rushes towards the door.
Silk, no!
He asked if anybody would volunteer.
Oh, God.
He's got. I suppose you've got a robe on, haven't you? Which is fireproof.
I've got that protection from the robe of the Archmagi.
Yeah.
It'll still hurt like hell, but we're gonna find out.
This is not going to end well. Never mind. Hey, that's what re-rolling is all about.
That's right. I got a new character ready.
Okay.
Where's my shield mastery instant spells? There they are.
Okay, Silk, you stand by the door. Numal is coming after you. Victor and Cherry are also coming after you. Cran is cursing and stomping after you as well. And Ugnan is just sighing and thinking, how do I heal this?
Yep.
I'm
just
taking out the shield, just in case.
Okay.
ambling forward slowly.
Hoping to amble forward so slowly that by the time the spell is cast, I'm still out of range. But hey, I was coming to help.
I'll bury them.
Okay, yes. All right. Silk, you're first to the door. Do you want to open the door, or do you want to act cautiously?
Well, you mentioned that there was like blackened plasma, like basically a intense fireball that occurred. So
Yes.
she's interested in that. Like she's never seen that kind of. So she'll get to the door at least, and if nothing happens, she'll kind of investigate closely.
Okay. What are you looking for on the door?
Just again, any kind of rune, sigils.
You know that something around the door obviously triggered this intense burst of heat, which vitrified some of the flesh that was shielded by the armor, which has long since been pulverized, such that there's vitrified flesh, brain material. The skeletons were probably maybe mercenaries. They're not particularly well trained because of their armor and equipment and so on. They were blasted away from the door. Silk, you couldn't see anything around the door apart from the fact the doors are very, very tall indeed, unnaturally tall if you think. Obviously, these are doors that are set to impress, not just open and close. The doors are made of a black metal, but you don't get any bad vibes from the black metal. They just look like black metal. They're inscribed and engraved so that when the doors are closed, as they almost are, you can see a tall, beautifully proportioned woman standing with her arms held loosely across her body in full flowing robes, a stern but beautifully clear face looking out across this compound.
Wow. I'll immediately put my hand up to people and kind of gather them behind me around the corner and just explain what I see. And this is a live woman, sorry, or a statue?
No. This is actually engraved into the door. So the door is sort of a 3D type,
Right.
engraving.
Bas relief, yeah.
And is the door and Silk, is the door shut? Is it fully shut, or is it slightly ajar?
The door is not fully shut. The door is slightly ajar, such that there are no obvious handles on it. So in its prime, it's difficult to see how you would have opened it easily. But because the door is slightly ajar, if you could use some tools, or you could just grab it with your hands and really tug and pull on it, you could open the door fairly easily.
So it pulls, the doors swing outwards
towards you. That's right.
Towards us. And the second question is, with the likely would the trajectory of the fireball have been able to have come out of that slight gap in the door at present?
No, looking at the skeletons, those doors would probably have had to have been fully open, and then something erupted through that doorway.
Mm-hmm.
Right, and GM, what size are these doors? Are they pretty much as we can see them on the map? That they're probably like
approximately. If you went for, they're about 5 foot wide each of them. So there's 2 of them. So you're looking at a 10-foot doorway with 2 5 foot wide by about 15 feet tall doors. So if you compare that to a modern door, which is about 3 to 4 feet, probably closer to 3.5 feet. So these doors are probably 1.5 times, your normal width.
So Numal turns to Cran and he says, "Do you think you could use Betty to at arm's length to try and swing open the doors without yourself coming in front of them?"
Yeah, I mean, Cran says yes, but he's clearly reluctant to do so. He was quite happy until you said at arm's length, and he's kind of looking at the length of his arms and thinking, I wish at this point they were longer.
Has Cherry got anything like a grapple hook or anything that we maybe could hook around the side on a piece of rope and pull it over?
Well, Cran almost certainly, as he searches amongst his ironmongery, almost certainly has a grapple hook. Or if not, you could probably position Betty, tie a rope to one end, and then pull on it.
I think that might be safer.
Okay. Cran gets the ever-faithful Betty by the door. The rest of you then begin to retreat as he attaches a rope. As you retreat, Cran probably looks up anxiously as you all start walking off to leave him. Silk ducks down the corner.
I look at the ground. Is there an obvious radius from the liquefaction or vitrification?
Basically, if you imagined a cone heading away from the door. So if you go around that corner, assuming this trap triggers in the same way, you'll be safe there.
Okay, I'll be good.
And the rest of you standing where you are, yes, you're probably safe. So Cran attaches Betty, wedges it as best he can, and then very carefully takes up the slack on his rope and retreats, taking up the slack and retreats. And then he kind of whispers, no idea why, but that's what you do. Are you ready? Is there anything anybody wants to do before you trigger this lethal trap?
Say a silent prayer to whatever gods are listening.
Okay, yes, you can do that. So Ugnan, who's not a particularly religious man, suddenly gets down on his knees and prays to Offler, the one-eyed god of chance.
That is weird as a channeling user, isn't it?
Yes, that you're not religious at all. Victoria thinks, well, what's the worst that could happen? It's already happened.
That's right.
Gives Cran a thumbs up.
Okay. And Victoria, you've got the shield, haven't you, which absorbs
Yeah.
heat. So you're hoping that will help. Okay, Cran pulls on the door, gives it a mighty heave, and with a groan, the doors open. As the doors open, you feel a slight change in the air around you and a slight shake. And you feel, certainly Victoria and Cran, you feel the hairs on your head move as if somebody's turned on a fan. The vegetation in front of the doors rustles and shakes, but there's no obvious heat. The bones in front stir slightly. Can you all give me perception rolls, including Silk as well, please?
Not sure why I'm using the tower.
Same here, I don't know why.
See it.
As the wind rushes, you can see there's a very, very faint heat haze in front of the door, but there's no obviously source of heat, and certainly the vegetation doesn't crisp. However, what you do notice is two of the skeletons begin to move and shift and roll over and drag themselves slowly to their knees.
No.
And you can hear
Oh.
one of them saying, "Yes, mistress. Yes, mistress. We obey, mistress. We answer thy summons, mistress. Forever in life as in death, we come. We come." And as they haul themselves to their knees, and there are two of these things, one of them grabs a huge mattock in its left hand.
Close up! And that's where we'll leave this episode. Facing a fight with at least two skeletons, and we know, Stuart, they're not going to be normal skeletons, when we're using the rule set which has got a problem with it for this session, where we can see all the rolls are in the open. And if you know Rolemaster, the critical system can be very brutal. Thanks very much for watching, listening, subscribing, following. All those things really do help. Thanks. There won't be an Adventures in Middle-earth episode for a few weeks yet, as John, the GM of Adventures in Middle-earth, is doing a coronavirus toolkit and has to involve his time in that at the moment. Links to that are in the description and all the other ways of getting in contact with us. Anyway, until next time, happy gaming, cheers.